Hello everyone, and welcome back to Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. So let's see what's been happening in the royal news lately. The first story comes from New York Post, December the 13th, 2024. Kate Middleton is not back to normal after cancer, but there's still hope, insiders claim. Kate Middleton still has a little ways to go before she's truly back to normal, her close friend claims. The Princess of Wales, 42, has faced a challenging year health-wise after having to undergo a chemotherapy following her cancer diagnosis in March. Since announcing in September that she's cancer-free, the beloved royal has been making a gradual return to public-facing duties. She is focused on herself and her family right now, rightly, a palace source told People, adding that the princess is not back to normal just yet. Still, despite not feeling 100% at this time, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, the insider adds. She has to get back on top of it, and she will if she is left alone to work it out for herself, a second source told the outlet. She won't be going back to work in the same way for a long time. Understandably, Princess Catherine has spent much of 2024 behind closed doors as she prioritized treatment and recovery. She is very much in control of her return to public life. She is doing what works best for her, royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith told the outlet. Meanwhile, an insider added that she and Prince William have made it clear that family is the most important thing. You can't go through something like that and come out the other side unchanged. She's a different person now, the source said. Indeed, it's been reported this week that Middleton and her husband have begun preparing for William's ascension to the throne. Although the king is carrying out his duties with typical determination, he has had to accept limitations during his cancer treatment, Bedell Smith told the outlet. As a result, William has been taking on more responsibilities, and he and Kate have been preparing for their future roles sooner than they would have expected. There's a sense of calm before the storm, she went on. They are next in line for the biggest job of their lives, and of course Kate's health has taken priority, but it's also allowed everyone to take a step back and figure out what's important right now. Last month, palace insiders claimed that the royal staffers began drawing up succession plans after the king's coronation in May 2023. Our second story comes from People, and it's dated December the 14th, 2024. King Charles is all smiles as he gets into the holiday spirit and decorates a Christmas tree. King Charles is feeling the holiday spirit. On Friday, December 13th, the monarch, 76, was photographed smiling and socializing as he attended his annual Crafts at Christmas event at Highgrove Gardens near Tutbury, England. The King's Foundation was started by His Majesty in 1990 when he was the Prince of Wales. The organization helps approximately 15,000 students annually, partially by helping them build practical skills, according to the official website. Student Emily Rose Saunders told BBC it was really exciting to see the King express his own passion for the crafts this year. Additional photos show the King shaking hands with attendees and exploring the area. He also smiled as he greeted children in Santa hats, and images showed him appearing to spread Christmas cheer while decorating a Christmas tree with ornaments. According to Saunders, the King was really engaged with those who he came in contact with at his annual Crafts at Christmas event, the BBC added. The student who studies milliner and enjoys a technique called straw plaiting when crafting hats thanked His Majesty and Channel for their contributions. We wouldn't be here without His Majesty, and to be able to have that support from both him and Channel means that we are able to have this time. When else could you be able to have 8 months when you can solely learn a skill, she said. It's really nice to be able to meet him and thank him for that, really. During his visit, the King also listened to songs performed by the local rock choir. Paul Venn, a roasted chestnut vendor at Crafts at Christmas, told the outlet, "When I handed him the nuts, he said he loves them, but he ate so many when he was young, he couldn't eat another." So our next story comes from the Telegraph, December the 10th, 2024. The Prince of Wales, I do not own a Christmas jumper. What to buy a man who has everything at Christmas? If the Prince of Wales is anything to go by, the answer is simple, a Christmas jumper. Prince William, who said he would spend December 25th with 45 members of the extended royal family, found himself among a sea of festive jumpers as he handed out Christmas presents to the military families on Tuesday as the Colonel-in-Chief of the 1st Battalion, Mercian Regiment, Wiltshire. Asked why he was not wearing his own, he pointed to himself and said, "Some people don't own one." Sharing details of his own Christmas plans, he said he would spend the day with 45 members of his family, all in one room, but normally spread out, and hoped for a long walk, including the dogs. "Am I ready for Christmas?" he laughed. No way am I ready. The Wales family will spend the festive season in Norfolk, staying at their home at Amer Hall and joining the royal family at Sandringham for their annual outing to church and lunch on Christmas Day. They traditionally open presents on Christmas Eve in the German style. The Prince of Wales, 42, today started the festivities early as he met with soldiers and their families at Picton Barracks, Bulford Camp in Wiltshire for lunch. Receiving Christmas cards for Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis in return, he was particularly charmed by a drawing of himself, putting it in his pocket to take home. He was handed it by Carson Headway, 10, who had drawn it on a post-it note, and asked, "Is that me?" before folding it up and tucking it into his breast pocket. Dylan Potter, 14, made the prince laugh after revealing he was wearing 2 Christmas jumpers. He said afterwards, "I asked, what does a prince do for fun?" And he said he likes watching movies and hanging out with his children, but because he is over 40, finds fun hard to come by. Prince William also disclosed that he's been watching Netflix at home with the princess, including Black Dove, which stars Keira Knightley. He chose not to put on a Santa hat, and when asked why he was not wearing a jumper, he pointed at his new equerry and joked, "I didn't know. You see that guy in the jacket? It's his fault, and I'll be having a word." The prince was greeted at the entrance by 18-month-old regimental mascot Derby the Ram. Introduced to Private Derby, a Swalesdale ram who has been the 33rd mascot since 1858. He said, "I can see you are holding on tightly. He looks fantastic, very smart." The prince was told the ram was off to spend Christmas in a field full of ewes, and William replied, "So, he has quite a fun Christmas. Oh, good luck to him." Inside the sergeant's mess, he chatted and joked at 10 tables of servicemen and women and their children. Towards the end, he joked, "10 tables, it's like I'm speed dating." Prince William asked 5-year-old Alexander Fitzgerald what he wanted for Christmas. His dad, Sergeant Lee Fitzgerald, 39, said afterwards, he said he wanted a Nintendo Switch, and when they spoke about playing Mario Kart, William said he was supposed to let your dad win sometime. 10-year-old Isabel McNeil and her younger brother Hunter, 5, handed William a Father Christmas hat present and a Christmas card written to George, Charlotte, and Louis. Fiona Dewar McNeil, their mother, said William asked what Father Christmas was going to bring him, and Hunter said he was going to get a big Tyrannosaurus Rex. He said, "I hope all your dreams come true." And our last story comes from the Daily Mail Room, December the 14th, 2024. Prince William's Windsor balding gene could have started with Queen Victoria's father, and Harry hasn't escaped it either, as experts reveal how it's passed down the generations. The royals have many things, including multiple residences, helpful butlers, and beautiful jewels, but some male members of the family don't seem to have a lot of hair. Prince William's hair has disappeared over the years, and though Prince Harry held on to his locks for longer, he also hasn't avoided thinning. Meanwhile, their father, King Charles, started sporting the classic Windsor comb-over as he aged. Their hair loss could be due to a range of reasons, and according to the expert Dr. Amar Khan, co-founder of the Harley Street Skin Clinic, it's a combination of aging, hormonal factors, and genetics. Dr. Amar told the Mail Online, balding can be passed down from either side of the family, but for men, it's usually the mother's side that is more influential in determining whether or not you'll experience baldness. A range of hair characteristics, including balding, can be inherited from family members, according to the doctor, as well as hair color, texture, and thickness. The royal family could reveal where the possible baldness gene originates from. Across previous generations of royals, many have experienced some form of hair loss, and the phenomenon has been previously described as the Windsor balding gene. Dr. Khan said, "When we look at King Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry, there are clear signs of balding present, with some experiencing it more aggressively than others. I think we can say that this is clearly influenced by genetics, as there is a constant pattern of baldness among the generations that suggests a hereditary predisposition. More than 250 years ago, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent and Strathearn, was born, and though he was never king, none of his three brothers produced a legitimate heir, and his daughter, Queen Victoria, went on to rule. He died shortly after Victoria was born, aged 52, but pictures of the royal reveal he was balding. Drawings and depictions show him sporting sideburns and the hair on the side of his head, but completely bald on top. Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, passed away aged 42, but the monarch's keen interest in photography meant his appearance was well documented. Images show his hair seemed to be receding in his final years, and he would cover his crown with a section of hair combed over. The couple were first cousins and shared the same grandparents, meaning Albert may have inherited his hairline from their shared family. They had 4 sons, but only one seemed to share the hairline of their father, Edward VII, who went on to be crowned king in 1901. In later years, the monarch's hair receded in a similar fashion to Prince Albert's, and he sported the same comb-over style. Edward's 2 sons, Prince Albert and George V, both had more hair than their father. King George went on to have 5 sons: Edward VIII, George VI, Henry, the Duke of Gloucester, George, the Duke of Kent, and Prince John. Out of all of them, Henry would go on to lose the most hair, with his older brothers maintaining much of theirs. George VI's eldest daughter would go on to become Queen Elizabeth II and marry her 3rd cousin, Prince Philip, who was also related to Queen Victoria. Like some of his relatives, Philip's hair also thinned as he aged, and he wore it swept over his head. King Charles, Elizabeth and Philip's eldest son, has experienced some balding on the top of his head as he has aged, and he combs it over like his father once did. While his younger brother, Prince Edward, had long dark hair in his younger years, but mostly bald on the top of his head nowadays. Dr. Khan, whose clinic offers platelet-rich plasma injections to help thicken hair, described the differences in Charles and Edward's hair loss. He said the king's hair may be a result of diffuse thinning. This is a form of granular hair loss and density on top of the scalp, which is a milder form of androgenic atopecia associated with elder age, whereas Prince Edward's balding is more extreme and looks to me more advanced stage of androgenetic alopecia, as characterized by the lack of hair on the top of his scalp. Prince William and Harry seem to have inherited their father's family hair traits and are both thinning as they age. William has been on a journey with his hair over the years. When he was younger, he had a thick mop of blondish hair and was seen as the heartthrob by many. The prince was even greeted by hordes of swooning girls during a royal visit to Canada in 1998. During the early years of fatherhood, William began to sport a comb-over as he lost hair. His brother Harry recalled the moment he looked at William and noticed his alarming baldness in his memoir of Spare. Harry went on to describe how William's hair loss was more advanced than my own. The Prince of Wales had noticed his balding himself and occasionally mentioned it lightheartedly. During a speech at Earthshot Prize event in Singapore in 2023, William joked how he had hair when the initiative started. The prince's hair loss seems to be working favorably for him, as last year he was crowned the sexiest bald man for the 2nd year in a row. In 2019, transplant surgeon Dr. Asim Shamalik discussed the rate of Harry's hair loss and said he is losing his hair at the same sort of rate that Prince William lost in his 20s. The baldness gene in the Windsor family is extremely aggressive. In more recent years, Harry's hair seems to have thinned in a similar fashion to his father's. So that is all for the royal news for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, if you could give the video a thumbs up, it would be greatly appreciated as always, and it will help my channel to keep growing. I wish everyone a good day, and tune in again soon for another episode of Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. Thank you.